Hi everyone, it's Sarah from PLANSARAHPLAN, and today we're going to look at the I Want to Have Your Story series from Heirloom Books. This book was sent to me by Heirloom Books free of charge in exchange for an honest review, and I just received this yesterday and I have not gone through it yet. So we're going to go through this together. I want to tell you that this is a series. So there is also the I Want to Have Your Story Dad, Grandmother, and Grandfather. So this one is the mom one, obviously, and you can get it in two different cover colors. This one's purple, and you can also get it in beige if that is what you prefer. The title page says, The Heirloom Books, I Want to Have Your Story, Mom, a heartfelt journal for mothers to capture their life, love, and values. So you guys, before we go any further, I just want to say that my mom is in her mid-80s, and we have done this thing many times that I call Family History Lunch, where we go out to lunch and I have a notebook and I ask her questions about her life. And I just write down what she says. And one thing generally leads to another. So one answer leads to my next question very often. Well, what I do is write those things out for her. She doesn't do it. But this is designed, I think, for either your mother, your father, whoever it is that you're featuring, to write in their own hand if that works well. With my mom, I think it's going to work well for me to take dictation. So this is like a gift book that you can give, but it's something that you can do together as a mother and daughter or as a father and son, what have you. So I wouldn't get too hung up on whether or not the mom has to complete it or the child completes it. I think you can just customize that process based on your situation. So this book tells the story of, and you would put your mother's name. I definitely think I would go ahead and have my mom write her own name here. A mother's love is the first home we know, a guiding light that never fades. The table of contents takes us through different times in mom's life. So from beginnings to blossoms, finding your way, stepping into the world, journeys of love and family, moments that made you, wisdom of the heart, mom trivia, the legacy of love, scrapbook of life, and the final word. So there's a letter to your mom here that I'm not going to read, but if you were just going to present this to your mom and have her complete this at her leisure, then she would read this and you would sign it here with love and gratitude, and then you sign it. Chapter 1, From Beginnings to Blossoms. And I'm not going to read everything, just some of the highlights here. Where and when were you born? Do you know any stories or details about that day? What is your earliest memory? What was your childhood home like? So on my own, I have thought of some of these questions, but not all. So these are good ideas. I have asked, what was your childhood home like? Who were the most important people in your early life? And then family background. What can you tell us about your parents and grandparents? Are there any interesting or memorable stories about your ancestors? So this is really great because even if you are not getting the journal and you're just talking to your mom and you want more information, or maybe it's your dad or your grandmother, you could ask questions like this. Maybe this will give you some ideas. Childhood memories, such as, can you describe a typical day during your childhood? Now that's something I have not thought to ask. What were your favorite toys or games? Do you have a favorite childhood memory that stands out? School days and friendships. Are there any school memories that make you smile or laugh? What subjects or activities did you enjoy the most? The beginning of your story is the foundation of everything you will become. And chapter 2 is finding your way. So we're growing up. This is the teenage years. Who were the most influential people during your teenage years? And what are some of your favorite memories? Did you experience significant growing pains as a teenager or challenges? What was your first job? Now, I have asked my mom that, and so you may actually get volumes of information and want to maybe tuck some additional pieces of paper in if this is not enough space for that. But I think this is all great. And not to be morbid or anything, but think down the road when you are perhaps the one who is preparing your parents' obituary. I did that for my dad back in August. And we had had some family history coffee dates, is what my dad and I had, not lunch dates, and not as extensively as what I'd have with my mom, because I actually thought my dad would be around longer than my mom. For some reason, that's just what I thought. And I would love to have filled out one of these for my dad, but I have asked some of these same questions, and my point is that if you need more space than this, then just go ahead and add some notebook sheets in here. But even if you didn't add to it, this is enough to kind of build the life story of your parent. If you do have to write something, maybe it won't be something sad like your parent's obituary, but it might be like a bio that they need for some program that they're in, or maybe there's a feature about them in a local club newsletter or something. It could come in handy for any number of reasons like that. Hidden talents, hobbies, and passions. Did you have any creative outlets like writing or music or art? Well, with my parents, it was music for sure. Lessons learned along the way. What were some of the most important lessons you learned during your teenage and early adult years? Never thought to ask that. How did these experiences shape your outlook on life and your approach to challenges? And then we keep moving up, and then now we're stepping into the world. So, early adulthood. What were some of the first major decisions you made as an adult? How did you handle the transition from dependence to independence? Great questions. These are great conversation starters. Also, just for visiting your parents. How did you go about pursuing these passions or interests, and what challenges did you face in following your passions, and how did you overcome them? And let's just keep going. Carving out a career, professional beginnings. What was your very first way to make money? How did your first way of making money shape your professional path? Lessons from early adulthood, the school of life. What were some of the most valuable lessons you learned during your early adulthood? This is great for passing on to children and grandchildren, the lessons that you've learned. A lot of times we just have to figure it out on our own, but isn't it nice to be able to look back on wisdom from parents and grandparents? How did these experiences influence your approach to life and decision making? And then we move on to chapter 4, Journeys of Love and Family, and meeting significant others, love and relationships. Can you share a memorable story from your early days together? What is your advice to the younger generation on love? Can you describe your wedding day if applicable? And then becoming a parent. Can you describe the moment you found out you were going to be a parent? What were your thoughts and emotions when you first held your child? What values were most important to you in raising your children? How did you handle difficult situations or discipline as a parent? Balancing career, family, and personal fulfillment. So, for example, how did your career choices impact your family life, both positively and negatively? And then you have a conclusion area and a reflection area. Chapter 5 is moments that made you. Family is not an important thing, it's everything. And that's Michael J. Fox. First steps in the professional world. So what was your first full-time job, as opposed to the question earlier, like a teenage job or childhood way of making money? Did you have a mentor or someone who guided you in your early career? Was there a moment in your career where you felt particularly proud? What happened, and why did it make such an impact on you? What was the biggest challenge or setback you faced in your career? How did you balance the demands of your career with your responsibilities at home? How did your career choices impact your family life? Did your work affect your family's dynamics positively or negatively? Legacy, what you'll be remembered for. What do you hope will be remembered most about your career? Now, I just had a thought. Those of us who are maybe the children instead of the parent, although we can be both, This is a thought-provoking exercise because a lot of us are not at the ends of our careers. We don't know what our quote legacy might be. And looking ahead to things like this might inform what you do along the way. Just a thought. If you could leave one piece of advice for future generations about work and career, what would it be? And then on to chapter 6, Wisdom of the Heart. Can you recall specific experiences that taught you a valuable life lesson? And core beliefs. What core values have guided you throughout your life? And have your beliefs or values changed over time? What caused those changes and how have they affected your life? How do you define success? Has your definition of success changed over time? I know mine has. What impact do you believe you've had on the people around you, whether family, friends, or colleagues? How do you hope your story will inspire others? And again, I'm only reading like one question, possibly two, on each of these pages. What thoughts or feelings do you have about aging? And how do you approach the concept of legacy? That is a Mark Twain quote. Here's chapter 7, Mom Trivia. What is something surprising about you that most people don't know? I think this section would be fun. Here's a satin purple page marker. It might be a different color in the beige journal. Is there a talent or skill that you have that might surprise others? What's a story from your past that always makes your family laugh? I have so many of those for both my mom and my dad. Do you have any daily rituals or routines that you follow? Are there any foods you absolutely love or can't stand? And you know, even though my dad's gone, I could probably get together with my brother and sister and my stepmom and go over some things to come up with answers, even if I can't ask Dad. Rapid fire questions, the quick answers. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite season of the year? And do you prefer the beach or the mountains? Well, with my mom, it was definitely the beach. With my dad, not so sure. I know he didn't like to walk in the sand barefoot, but he probably liked the weather more at the beach than in the mountains. Who knows? It's the little details that are vital. Little things make big things happen. And that was John Wooden. Chapter 8, Memories to Cherish. What are some of the most cherished memories of your life? And if you could share just one memory with your descendants, what would it be and why? Boy, that would take some thought. Messages to loved ones. What advice would you like to give your children as they continue their journey in life? Do you have a special message for your grandchildren? Oh my goodness. I have grandchildren now. I could actually go ahead and start filling out one of these for myself. If you could write a letter to your future great-grandchildren, what would you say? Oh, this is priceless. Okay, passing the torch, values and traditions. What core values do you want to ensure are passed down to your family? If you can impart one piece of spiritual or philosophical wisdom to future generations, what would it be? If you could see one accomplishment from your descendants in the future, what would it be? How would you like your family to use or display the items in your legacy box? What legacy box? Creating a legacy box, keepsakes for generations. What items would you include in a legacy box to represent your life? Now there's an idea. Instead of passing down all of the stuff in your house, which your children will likely not want to have, what if you prepared a legacy box for them? That's a great idea. The legacy you leave is not just the possessions you've gathered, but the lives you've touched, the memories you've shared, and the love you've spread. That is true. Scrapbook of life. Are we going to put pictures in here? Moments in time, photos and reflections. Yes, so we're going to put photos in here. Include a photo from a significant moment, such as your graduation, your wedding, the birth of a child. What emotions do you feel when you look at this picture? Oh, and it tells you what sort of picture to put down, and then you write about it down here. And I'm a scrapbooker, so this part would be fun for me. Treasures from the past, keepsakes and mementos. What's one keepsake you've held onto for many years? Why is it meaningful to you? Well, I'll tell you one thing. This is my grandfather's watch that he was presented from his employer. It was passed down to my dad, and my stepmother gave it to me. I even have it in a picture that I'll show you right here. That's my dad, that's me, and we're pretty sure he's wearing this watch, and it's so nice to just have both of those things. Add any other mementos that you think or that you feel tell an important part of your story. How do you feel when you look back at these photos and mementos? Is there a memory that's been particularly significant in your life? Now, I might be missing my very favorite questions because I'm just reading one off the right side each time, but it's full of great ideas. Is there a specific way you'd like your scrapbook to be displayed or preserved? Memory is the diary that we all carry about with us. That's kind of a tearjerker. Looking back, reflections on your journey. How do you feel about the life you've lived so far? Are there particular moments or accomplishments that stand out to you as defining your journey? Parting thoughts. Now, I had lots of visits with my dad as he was near dying, and he did give me some final thoughts and messages and things that I need to write down while they are still fresh in my mind. Gratitude and grace, acknowledging life's blessings. Who are the people you're most grateful for in your life and why? How do you want your loved ones to remember the gratitude and grace with which you lived your life? How do you hope your story will continue to be told? What final wishes do you have for those who come after you? The best way to predict the future is to create it. Peter Drucker. And final words. Well, this is great, and it's better than I thought it was going to be. I like the satin bookmark, so I will put up on the screen some pictures of the other possibilities that you have, but it's mainly a series of journals for different members of your family, but there are also a deck of cards that has 150 cards in it, and you could just use those as family conversation starters. So the price on these is $23.96, but the price keeps going down as you increase quantity. So if you ordered 4 different books, that is your lowest price, and they don't have to all be the same. So you could get the mom, dad, grandmother, grandfather, and your price per book would go down to $16.79. So in other words, one book is $23.96, but 2 are $39.97. 3 are $54.99, and 4 are $67.19. And the deck of cards that are conversation starters include 150 cards for $24.99. The mom and dad books come in 2 cover options. So I told you purple and beige for mom, blue and brown for dad. It's just a flower cover for grandmother and a green cover for grandfather. Not only that, I have a discount code that they've provided for us, PLANSARAHPLAN, all one word with an H on Sarah. PLANSARAHPLAN will get you a percentage off of your price, and I will put the link to Heirloom Books down in the video description. And I want to thank Heirloom Books for reaching out to me to ask if I would like to review one of their products. I am very pleased with this. I will tell you that it comes from overseas. I think it comes from China, and it took exactly 1 month for this to be delivered. So if you need this for an occasion, so it doesn't say where it's made as far as I can tell, but if you need one for a specific occasion, give yourself a month out from that to receive it in time. So this was shipped on January 10th. I received it on February 10th. So just a heads up on that. But I think it's a reasonable price, and I think it's a very nice idea. So thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think about this. Do you do something like this already with your mom or dad or grandmother or grandfather, like I did with a notebook? Or does this sound like something that would help you in documenting what's important and what you want to remember about your loved ones? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.